What's up, guys, and welcome to the Extra Point. This is after NFL Week 7, and this is our Tuesday recap show. Reminder for Thursdays is going to be our NFL Week 8 preview, along with our NFL trivia and games. So let's get started. We'll start off Week 7 with the Browns beating the Colts 39-38, and the little Minshew magic game with Deshaun Watson just not playing after he sucked. What do you guys think about this one?
So I just think that the refs have been a problem this year, like so much. And both of those were not penalties. Like, yes, there was a little bit of a hold and illegal contact when Amari Cooper was breaking his route stem for the corner, but he was still wide open. And if they wanted to throw that ball, they could have. It didn't change anything about the play. And I just don't think you call that. You got to let them play. Along with the play on the 8-yard line, first and goal, they threw it literally 5 yards above his head, 5 yards out of bounds. And there was still like minimal contact. They called pass interference. Everyone was saying, okay, but they're going to take it back. It's uncatchable. Still, no take back. It's uncatchable. And they called it catchable. And they called the flag. And then the Colts still got 3 defensive stops on the one. And then they plunged it in from the one on fourth down. It's just the referees are really swaying games this season. And they were last season too. And it's just really hard to watch. And it's a problem in the league. But also, the Colts, they looked good offensively. Everyone's saying the Browns are the best defense in the NFL. They're really not. Yeah, they force a lot of turnovers. I don't think the Browns are the best defense in the NFL at all. I think Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the NFL, but I do not think the Browns are the best defense in the NFL.
Steelers fans aren't gonna like that.
Myles Garrett was the only one doing anything defensively. He forced 2 fumbles. They recovered both of them. They forced 4 fumbles on the day, but they still gave up 38 points. I just don't understand how that's possible to be the best defense in the NFL. I don't even think they're top 10 defensively. But yes, they do force a lot of turnovers.
I think that's the worst thing you ever said ever.
Yeah, that's really bad.
I think if you do a quick little Google search, go look up NFL team total defense stats 2023 on ESPN.com, and you'll see who number 1 is. It's Cleveland, and number 2 is your Baltimore Ravens. So I highly disagree with that. Cleveland's defense is amazing. I think Myles Garrett has a serious shot at getting third place in the MVP voting because he's not going to get first. All right, we all know he's not, but he should 100% be considered for it. It's really hard for a defensive player. I'd be all for it, though. And I don't think he's the only one doing anything. Denzel Ward he's just a fantastic cornerback. And that game was absolutely amazing. Like, I know you see, the score and you're like, oh, well, how could this defense be so good if the Colts are putting up all those points? All right, teams score points. It's the National Football League. It happens to everybody. So games like that happen. And Myles Garrett is just a complete game wrecker. I mean,
what's the link for this? I'm trying to look it up right now.
So if you look up NFL team total defensive stats, it does any stats. ESPN is a really great resource and website for that. Why are you so happy? But I just think Cleveland's great. I think their defense, you got to give them credit. But my big concern is Deshaun Watson. Supposedly his arm was fine. He was able to play, but he should have had 2 interceptions. It was only 1, and I don't think he had any yards at all. And it was just a couple pass attempts. And he got a supposed concussion, which he was cleared, and never went back into the game. He's getting paid, $235 million guaranteed a year. Not a year, but total contract-wise. I mean, and that contract, that trade is it's looking like a complete failure. It's looking like a wasted roster with him being on it. So that's my total take from what Cleveland is doing right now. And they're a playoff team.
Well, I want to say that Cleveland is I do think they're a playoff team, but I think that Myles Garrett is this defense. I think if Myles Garrett goes out, they drop to mid at least. I think that Andrew has half a point. I think that he's right in the sense that Myles Garrett is doing the majority of the stuff, but I don't think that they're bad. I don't think that this team that has been allowing very, very few options for the offenses is bad. I think that, but forget about them. I was looking at who was it? The Colts. The Colts seem like they're doing really good, and this is without my man Anthony Richardson, and he's done for the year. And Gardner Minshew. No, it wasn't Gardner Minshew. Yeah, it was Gardner Minshew. Is still playing well. 15 of 23, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, but and 4 sacks. But that's Myles Garrett right there.
I think they had
Can
about
Gardner Minshew take this team to playoffs? Is my question to you guys.
No, not even close.
I think he can.
He
The
threw
Colts have been every game they played.
he threw 3 picks the week before.
Okay.
He's a mistake-prone quarterback. Yeah, he's like a Brock Purdy type guy, but the Colts offense just is not there.
Did you take him first in the backup quarterback draft?
Well, he is the best backup, but
First
like
in the
he's a backup.
quarterback draft, but he's a backup. He could start in a couple teams, but they would not be a playoff team. And they might be able to edge their way into the playoffs, but they are already 3-4. So I just don't see it happening at all.
I don't.
PFF
If they won this
with,
game, if they won this game, I think they could have pulled it off. But with losing this game, there's no chance, in my opinion, just because the Jaguars, only one team from that division is going to make the playoffs, and the Jaguars are running away with it.
I guess, but PFF says that you may be right, Andrew. They have the Cleveland Browns 11th in terms of total defense.
PFF, dude. PFF ain't.
PFF is good. It actually reads every single play.
Oh my God.
Thing is, I don't understand how the Browns are leading by over 30 yards in yards per game. That doesn't sound right.
They are. No, their yards per game total is like very low. It's statistically like on pace. I mean, not statistically, historically like really high.
But the Colts had a total of 450 yards on them, and the Ravens earlier in the season had like 375 yards on them. So I just don't get how that's possible.
Well, it's 2 out of 6 games, and they've also already had their bye.
But they haven't been that locked down in their games. But...
All right, guys, let's get to the
San Fran.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to the next one.
They did lock down San Fran.
Let's just get right into our local fake Patriots fan, Rudra Bengali. Patriots win 29-25 over the Bills. And right before the game, I think I saw that Bill Belichick signed to a mega deal contract extension or something.
Wait,
What's going on in New England, Rudra?
I look, all I'm hoping is that he is just bringing in people for the personnel. I will say these past like 2 drafts or so have been good. They have been good. The rest before that have not been great, but the past 2-3 drafts or so have been pretty good. Demario Douglas, 6th round receiver, looking like a great playmaker. He looks like Shitty McCoy out in the what's it called? Out in the open. He's making all types of people miss. But I was just this tank. I don't know. This tank is not possible.
Can you even call it a tank anymore with them beating the Bills?
I can't. Is
there not hope for the season?
What I said to my friend when we were watching was that if they win against the Dolphins, I have to root for them to win the Super Bowl, because at that point there's no chance they get anyone high enough that I like. So we'll just see how they do next week. I'm very happy. The Gesicki Gritty was pretty great. The Mac Gritty was not so great. But it was fun. It was fun. It's always fun to hate on the Bills. It's always fun to watch Josh Allen lose because he sucks. But
good to see you win every once in a while. You don't want to lose every game, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're tanking. No, and I always hate the tanking stuff. No NFL team tanks. That's how guys lose their jobs. Like I can't imagine a coach going in the locker room. He's like, "All right, when you have an open field tackle, miss, let them score."
Yeah.
No guy, there's no.
It feels like, hey, in terms of tackling, it did feel like that during that game. It did feel like
sometimes,
they were saying,
yes, it feels like that when you watch teams play. But there's no way that New England team is tanking.
No, especially under Bill.
They're gonna win games where they shouldn't. All right, they do that. Their defense, although has major key injuries, they will find a way to beat a team.
JC Jackson looking not bad.
They did that with Buffalo, and I also think that says a lot about Buffalo because they're 4-3 right now, and they've besides that Miami game, they haven't looked all that stellar. They're now
Miami itself hasn't played well against good teams.
They lost to the 2 teams that have winning records that they played.
Yeah,
so far.
they've Buffalo's lost to 2 division rivals already on the road, and I mean that means you have to win your games at home now against New England and the Jets, and they're not guarantees. You've already lost to them both, so I think it says a lot about Buffalo.
Yeah, I think the Patriots showed a lot of grit in that game. Like I think they definitely could have easily given up once they gave up that lead 25-22. But then once I was really impressed with Mac Jones in that 2-minute drill. He found a lot of open receivers, drove down the field, and in just a minute and 50 seconds, they scored a game-winning touchdown to Mike Gesicki. So I think that was really good to see out of Mac Jones. He showed a lot of resilience, and he showed that maybe he can be that franchise guy that they've been wanting him to be. But the Bills, yeah, they don't look too good. That play by Stephon Diggs, though, was insane. He broke a tackle, got in the end zone, amazing play. But other than Stephon Diggs, they haven't had that many bright spots this season. And with Tre'Davious White down, and isn't it Matt Milano also down?
Yep.
That's like their best two defensive players being down is really going to hurt them in the long run. And I just don't know. They'll make the playoffs. I think it's not even a guarantee at this point, but I think they'll make the playoffs. But once again, I don't see them doing much in the playoffs.
Yeah, every juggernaut team in the AFC, Baltimore, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Miami, and I think you might even have to include the Jets if they're able to just play defense the way they're playing it. I feel like they're all better than Buffalo right now.
Yeah.
They're all. Let's move on to probably the worst game of the weekend. Like, who cares about the Commanders and Giants? 14-7.
I do.
I was watching it a little bit, and it was an eyesore, honestly. Let's hear it, Carter.
I just want to say I'm pretty sure I guaranteed a Giants win in our last podcast. I might have to rewind the tape, find that, but I'm pretty sure I did. I was all over the Giants beating the Commanders. They own them. They own the Commanders. Quick little Google search will tell you so.
I mean, should Tyrod Taylor start then?
Oh, 100%. He's looked better than Daniel Jones has.
No.
No, you don't think he should start?
If the Chargers doctors never stabbed his lungs, who would have known what would happen in Los Angeles?
I think Tyrod Taylor is a great backup quarterback, but I think Daniel Jones wins this game too. Okay, I don't think you plug Daniel Jones in and they lose to Washington. I just don't see that. The Giants are not a good team, but neither is Washington. And the Giants took care of business against a team they should be at home. Even if you want to say Washington's better, the Giants should beat them at home. They're like that kind of level of teams.
Let me ask you guys this question. Is Sam Howell going to be the long-term starter in Washington?
No,
absolutely not.
Way too long. He plays a part in that sack count.
I think Brissett should be in soon.
Really?
100%.
I do. I think they have a chance to sneak into the.
There's a weird thing with the Commanders and Sam Howell. Like, they'll be good one game, and the next game they just look like the worst team in the league.
Yeah, well, they have with their record right now, it's not tank right now. It's not you have to have a bad pick.
It's Ron Rivera trying to keep his job.
Yeah, but it's you can still make the playoffs. And if you put in a quarterback like Jacoby Brissett, who's a good game manager, can get the job done. I feel like, once again, I said with Gardner Minshew, they probably won't make the playoffs at 3-4. The Commanders are at the same record. I don't think they will make the playoffs, but I think there is a chance with a bad NFC. Once again, the AFC is a lot better than the NFC. That's why the Colts won't make the playoffs. But it's a similar situation. And I think the Commanders with Jacoby Brissett could get that 6 or 7 seed if they put him in. Because they have the weapons. They really do.
I was a Sam Howell believer when he was in North Carolina, and the Commanders' offensive line is by far the worst in the NFL. So I don't know if we can fully judge him based off of this.
I don't know. I think the Giants have a good argument for that too.
Well, they're also injured, but in terms of starting offensive line,
I guess.
I know it's bad, but the way he definitely holds on to the ball way too long.
He does.
They're at a historic pace for sack count.
He also pretty much has one receiver because Jahan Dotson is not helping him at all this season.
Well, no, McLaurin and
right, he's one. That's what
Curtis Samuel.
It's okay.
Curtis Samuel's been really good.
Curtis Samuel is good. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
And Terry's been solid too. Terry
McLaurin is a
the most
great
underrated receiver, I think, in the NFL. I seriously think that Terry McLaurin's got all the talent. If you put Terry McLaurin on the Chiefs, everybody would be regarding this guy.
I was just about to say that. I was about to say I think that if something is going on in Washington, then I think the Chiefs should try to get some kind of trade going for Terry McLaurin.
Imagine you're Mac Jones having Terry McLaurin.
Imagine Mac Jones with anyone. Look at him this weekend with Pop Douglas and Kendrick
Mac Jones is not great. He's not. He's mid. He's average at best. But he's never really had a great receiver. So maybe, give him some guy with talent like I think maybe New England should be looking to trade for a receiver 100%.
Yeah.
And that's just what Terry McLaurin
Marvin Harrison,
is for me. I
please.
feel like if you plug him on a roster that needs wide receiver help, he's going to do damage wherever. He's played with how many quarterbacks now, and he's just produced numbers every year.
Yeah. All right. Let's go make Andrew happy. Let's go talk about some Ravens. Ravens 38.
Hey, cheers to Baltimore, right? Cheers to Baltimore right now. Let's do
Might
it.
be shocker.
Cheers. I need
Not with that Aquafina water, bro.
Cheers, chill. I know Aquafina's not the way to go.
All right, Andrew. Let's hear your.
Gotta go with Poland.
Your Super Bowl speed.
This is what we should have been all season, and I feel like the play calling is finally coming along. Todd Monken's finally figuring out the offense, and the players are finally figuring out Todd Monken's offense, and it's really just meshing well together. Lamar Jackson this season, as I've been saying from the start, I understand you don't like PFF grades, but he's been one of the highest graded quarterbacks in the league all season long. That game against the Steelers, his stat line didn't look great, but he played how he played against the Lions, against the Steelers. Everyone would have known that if the receivers caught those balls. But since the receivers didn't, everyone thought he played really bad against the Steelers. But that's not the truth at all. He played amazing. And he's been amazing all season in the pocket. He's showing something that he's never shown before. This is what Ravens fans have wanted him to be since he started being in the league. After that MVP season, people were still saying, oh, he's a running back. He's a running back. But no, he's really not. And he's really taken that step up with Todd Monken calling the plays. He's been outstanding in the pocket. He stays in the pocket, layers balls over defenders, finds deep balls, finds the holes, goes through his progressions. Pause, my fault. But he has if you watch him play, he's going through about 3 progressions per throw. And it's just really impressive. He had one play where he's looking left, looks right, then goes back middle. He has one play where he's looking right, feels pressure on his right side. He could have just dumped it off. He was on his own 1-yard line, and instead he threw a 20-yard laser to the left side of the field. And that's what you want out of a quarterback. He's been
Lamar Jackson's finally a quarterback.
He's been outstanding.
Okay, don't disrespect Lamar like that. Come on.
He's been outstanding all year long. He's an amazing leader, and this is what the Ravens have been wanting him to be. And he's finally showing that he is worth the contract he got. He should be a top 3 MVP candidate right now. He should be. He should be. And the Ravens are 5-2, just beat the team that people were literally calling the best team in the NFL last week. So it's like, yeah, the Lions may not be as legit as people thought, but the Ravens are legit, and this is how should have been playing all season. They should be 7-0 or at least 6-1 right now.
Yeah, I don't know what the Lions are doing. That was the
wait. And I didn't even mention the defense. Holding what was the 4th ranked offense in the league to 6 points and such a minimal amount of yardage. The Ravens defense is outstanding with Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. The pass rush looks amazing. They're leading the league in sacks this season, which the Ravens haven't led the league in sacks for 20 years or maybe their entire existence. So they've been outstanding on both sides of the ball. They're just finally putting it together.
I think this game says a lot about Detroit. I mean, I know Baltimore's good, but listen, I've been saying Detroit's way too overhyped, and they are. And this game is just the exact proof I've been talking about. Will Detroit probably get your 11 wins? They probably will, because they started off pretty strong and were gifted a week 1 win against the Chiefs with no Kelsey and Chris Jones. It's funny what happens when they play a good team, though, right? The second they play a good team that's healthy, they get blown out. And I'm not here to say that Detroit is bad. They are not a bad team, all right? I'm gloating a little too much on them. They're good, 100% good. They should win the division. They have talent, but they're not a top dog. They're 100% not a top dog, not at all. When I look at Detroit now, I think they're closer to a Cincinnati Bengals than they are to, I would say, a San Fran or a Philly.
I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now. The teams that the Lions have beat:
it's easy.
Buccaneers, Panthers, Packers, Falcons, and Chiefs without 2 of their top 3 players.
Yeah, who have they played? And it only gets easier for them. It does get easy. Their division is very easy. They'll probably split with the Vikings. They'll probably sweep Green Bay and Chicago. But besides that, they're probably going to get 11 wins easy.
I still think they're capable of making to the divisional round, but they're definitely not getting past that point.
Are they better than Philly?
No.
Are they better than San Fran?
Maybe.
No.
I don't think San Fran's good. And I'm not taking.
Oh, come on, it's one game. You can't.
All right, can we move to that game now?
Yeah, we can go there if you want
Or do
to.
we still
I
have
just
more
want to say
Oh
thoughts?
one
no,
more
no,
thing
no,
about
that's
Detroit.
Monday night. We'll keep Monday night.
Yeah, let me say
Okay.
one more thing about Detroit. Okay, is Dallas or Detroit better? Because I feel like that will tell me how you guys feel about the. They're very too similar.
I will let you know when the Eagles and Cowboys play because that's going to be a very important game for the NFC.
I think they're the exact same team.
All right, Rudra, be the tiebreaker here.
I think
In
the
terms of who's better, the Cowboys or Lions?
Yeah.
I'd say the Cowboys though.
Okay, you have Cowboys.
Yeah.
Pat has
I-
50-50.
I don't know yet.
I honestly I can't say it is 50-50. I'm gonna be totally honest
I need to
because
see the Cowboys play someone.
You know who
I need to see them play against each other. I'm checking if
they
they
do play
real
against
quick.
each other. That's a great thing. So
What
I'm
week?
everyone give an answer because I would love to look back at this.
Cowboys are
Right
better.
now, I would say the
Cowboys.
Lions
All right,
because
one for
Cowboys
Lions, one
got
for Cowboys.
destroyed by the Niners.
I want
Rudra?
to say Cowboys right now.
I will also say Cowboys. So that's
It's
three
only one
Cowboys,
Lions.
one Lions. So that'll be
I'm also an
interesting
Eagles
to see.
fan, so don't take my word seriously.
Well, no. Listen, it's still valid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Wait, but no one's gonna
Ravens-
say anything about the Ravens. It's kind of hurtful.
Okay, I'm gonna say this game was so bittersweet because I like Lamar, so I was happy for him, but I was so sad because one, I like the Lions and they lost, but also going back to this past summer, there was talks about the Patriots thinking about signing Lamar Jackson because no one was paying him. And they could have done that. And looking back, I just get so upset. I need Robert Kraft to start spending money, man. It's so tough that this team doesn't spend any money. Can you imagine this team if they had Lamar Jackson? How different it would be.
Yeah, they'd
I
be
think
like three.
He
every
probably wouldn't be
NFL
as good as
team-
the Ravens, but like
Every NFL team that doesn't have like Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and probably Herbert would want
Yeah.
Lamar. I would think.
yeah.
Lamar
Yeah.
finally.
And Lawrence. I feel like those teams are pretty comfortable with who they got. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but that's off the top.
Lamar finally has weapons, and yeah, like they dropped 7 passes against the Steelers, but other than that, they haven't dropped another pass all season. It was,
He has decent weapons. I wouldn't call them weapons.
but
Zay Flowers
if
is
you-
legit.
if
Zay
you
Flowers,
look-
I like.
Flowers
I'm not
is
sure about
good.
Odell this
If
year.
you
I'm
look
not
at
sure
his
about
game,
Bateman.
he completed passes to 9 different players in that game. 9 different players. OBJ had 60 yards. Zay Flowers had 70. Aguilar had a touchdown. All that, and it's just Andrews had 60 yards. Like he's just really balancing the ball. He's got he doesn't have a wide receiver one who's amazing like Jettas, but he has those guys who will all get the job done, and defenses have to all pay attention to them. And that's the what's the word for it? That's the luxury about having like 4 like decent type of weapons. Even Bateman played pretty well. He had like 40, 50 yards or something too. So
You think the Ravens should trade for a running back, as in Derrick
I
Henry?
don't. I think you gotta. I think okay.
Imagine they had Derrick Henry though.
You're not gonna like the sound of this. You're not. Derrick Henry's obviously an insane playmaker. Whatever.
I think he's washed.
Oh no.
I don't think he's
No,
washed,
no.
but he.
All I'm
he's
saying, though-
got a couple years left. Like
All I'm
maybe-
saying is he's an amazing running back. He's a great playmaker. He breaks tackles. He's a ground and pound guy. He can even hit the outside. He's fast. But I personally would not pay Derrick Henry $15 million a year if I can pay Gus Edwards $4 million a year. They're the same type of back. They both are bulldozer backs who always get 5 yards per carry. And Gus Edwards looked amazing against the Lions front. He went like 12 carries, like 60 something yards, and then he also had an 80-yard reception, and he had a touchdown. So I'm just gonna let's just roll with Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. It's been doing us well. Justice Hill fumbles too much, but other than that, like the entire team looks amazing.
Let's move on to battle of the backups here. Bears and the Raiders. Who thought this would be a fun game for the Bears? Tyson Bagent, D2. What was his college's name?
Bro, good for
University.
him.
I was Shepherd University.
Shepherd University.
My
Yeah.
football coach actually played football there, so he knows Tyson pretty well.
Yeah, he played pretty well.
That's good for him. That is so good for him.
21 for 29, 162 and a touchdown, 0 interceptions. That's the important stat.
He did
Does
the
it
job.
kind of know that Justin Fields sucks even more when a D2 quarterback can come in and
Yeah.
play good enough to beat a 3-4 Raiders team by what 28 or not 18?
18,
And you know the Raiders suck too now.
yeah. Well,
I know the Raiders.
they also had Brian Hoyer. They
Yeah,
might not.
Brian Hoyer is serviceable.
But no,
Yeah, but I feel like that becomes even at that point where, like, if you look at the rosters, like,
Yeah.
the Raiders are better than the Chicago Bears roster.
In terms of a
they
roster,
don't use
absolutely.
Devontae. They
yeah,
don't.
but Josh Jacobs
That's
has been
weird.
terrible this year. He's been terrible.
He has, but their O-line is not helping him at all. But one thing I've noticed is, thing about Tyler Bajan, I wouldn't say this says anything to Justin Fields, because what Justin Fields is doing with this team, he's trying to make plays, and he's trying too hard to make plays. Tyson Bagent, they told him, hey, just look short, do your thing, dip and dunk, and just get yards, get us through drives, and that's all we need out of you. And that's what he
All
did.
he did was dink and dunk, and it worked.
And it worked, yeah. And
I mean,
Justin Fields,
in his position, that's all I would do. That probably bought him a couple more years in the NFL.
it did.
Just that performance alone as backup.
But also he beat out some decent backup. He beat out PJ Walker in camp.
That's pretty good.
So he definitely like has some skill to him, and that was shown.
So you don't think it says anything about Justin, because Justin Fields has struggled so much.
I think
he's been
I think
pretty-
that this game shows that maybe the coaches and stuff are figuring out what their offense is, and at this point, it's really a test on Justin Fields. If they're able to do what they did against the Dolphins and like Bills, not Bills, but like against like Dolphins and like really good teams, they're not going to be able to do that much. But like if they're playing against like lower level teams like this, if they're not able to win with Justin Fields, that shows stuff, I think, from here on in.
I think regardless, they're moving off of Fields.
Yeah, I think they
I
have.
don't think
Really?
The Bears have the
Yeah,
worst
really.
line ever.
They're
with
gonna
Cole.
have the number 1 seed, like, or at least 2.
They're gonna have the first and second pick, or first.
They're
and
gonna
third.
have at least a 2 seed, at least, if Carolina somehow
Second
wins a
pick, you
couple
mean?
games and Arizona stinks. But Kyler Murray, I think, is gonna come back. So there's that. And their roster talent just isn't there. And why would Matt Eberflus want to keep Justin Fields? He doesn't owe him anything. He didn't draft Fields. Ryan Pace didn't draft Justin Fields. You don't think that regime wants to start with their own quarterback, their own fresh team? And I think Ryan Pace is a terrible GM. No offense. He's not great so far. There's a chance he might be good, and he could just draft Caleb Williams, and that saves his career, and he does some good later. But as of now, I'll never forget his presser where he said, we're going to take the North and never give it back. How about you take a couple, I don't know, maybe win more than 5 games? How about that? Try that first before saying you're going to win the division. That's my problem with Chicago. It's the front office, and it's the way they built this team. They went in free agency. They got a bunch of linebackers. They haven't really panned out that well. And not only that, they haven't really played to Justin Fields' strengths. But yes, DJ Moore in that trade with Carolina totally paid off. DJ Moore's a stud. But we know who Justin Fields is. He's got talent. He's not consistent. And when you got a guy like Caleb Williams, who's right there in the palm of your hands when the draft rolls around, you take him. You don't.
I think his stock is down. I think Caleb Williams' stock is down now after
Yeah,
that
he's not
last
getting
game,
on
and
the
also
Heisman.
like he's lost his
Doesn't
he
matter.
lost his last 3 or
Caleb
something.
Williams.
Last 2.
It does
Last
not
2.
matter at all. I'm telling you right now, they do not care.
Here's
Okay,
a question for the Bears, though.
He's getting drafted first overall. 100.
Here's a question. Here's the question for the Bears. So they're most likely gonna have 2 out of the first 3 picks, but their roster is so bad. Do they take the best talent, not Caleb Williams, with the first pick, and either hope he's there if they have the second, or maybe Drake May?
Caleb Williams is the best talent. He 100% is.
Okay. See, that's where I think you're wrong.
It's
Caleb Williams. He has talent. Yes. He's the best talent. He's the best talent in the draft. Yes. But
so how am I wrong?
I don't think he has the capabilities to really lead a team and be that good. If you really watch him play, I haven't seen him once, and maybe like once. Okay, but he very minimally. He always looks for the extra play. He never just takes his little drop, finds someone over the middle of the field. If he makes a play, it's always he's running away from rushers. The thing
it's also a Pac-12 thing, though. I'm not going to put that.
But
that's a Pac-12
he doesn't show that he can just run a regular offense. He's not going to be able to run away from every defensive end in the NFL. And that's what he tries to rely on. He doesn't trust himself over the middle of the field unless he's rolling out and he finds someone wide open in the middle of the field. That's something I've noticed about him. And until he gets that straight, I don't know if he's really. He should be the number one pick, but I think he's going to be a bust at this rate unless he figures that stuff out.
He will not be a bust, but I don't think he's going to meet everyone's expectations of Pat Mahomes' level. I think his expectations are the fact that he's going to step in and immediately be a top 10 quarterback. And I don't think he is the best prospect ever at QB, first of all. And I also don't think he's the best prospect of the last decade. I think it's still Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect I think I've ever seen. Maybe besides Andrew Luck, arguably. But I don't think you could put Caleb Williams up there yet. And I still think he'll be good. He'll get drafted first overall. But I also would like to say this about Drake May, since we're talking about those quarterbacks. I think Drake May is going to be very similar talent to Caleb. I think Caleb will be better, but I don't think people should be surprised if Drake May lands in the right spot, that he's able to produce similar numbers to Caleb and maybe get some of the similar win margins. I don't know what I'm really getting at, but just I feel like their career paths will be on a similar trajectory.
Yeah.
Okay, but then what happens to Fields then?
He could go back up Mac Jones.
I would take Fields. I would absolutely take Fields.
Oh,
See what he can do.
Ideally, if Fields legitimately would go anywhere. And I've been blabbering on too much right now, but I'll finish with this with the Bears and all that. If Fields went anywhere, it'd be Atlanta.
I think it would be. I think it should be Cleveland.
Cleveland's a good spot too, but
think
I don't think that's possible with that Deshaun Watson
No,
contract.
I get it, but I think if he learns behind Deshaun Watson, knowing Deshaun Watson,
What's Deshaun Watson going to teach him?
Yeah.
he used to be amazing. Maybe he's not that great anymore, but he used to be amazing. And they have a similar play style. They're gunslinging quarterbacks who like to roll out.
Yeah,
And they both have athletic ability. And I think they're a similar player, at least in Deshaun Watson's prime. Justin Fields is not even close to there yet, but they're a similar player. And I feel like if he goes to Cleveland, that could help his career.
All right, let's move on. Let's do a real quick word about the Falcons and Buccaneers, because I know we're bound to talk about their division, Ruger's Tears. So just give me your quick thoughts on this one.
Boring.
Yeah, it was
That game
boring. I
stalled.
think
That game was just not fun.
it was boring. I think the Falcons defense is actually really good. And
It's
one thing I think about the Falcons is Desmond Ridder. Yeah, he's not a good quarterback, but I think we were hating on him a little too much in the beginning of the season. I think he's shown that he can come back in late games. He can be clutch and lead a game-winning drive. He's done it many times already this season, and he's only played 7 games. And based off that, I feel like he's not amazing, for sure. He's not amazing at all. He's probably one of the bottom 10 quarterbacks in the league, but I think he can get the job done. And he's a pretty clutch quarterback with being able to drive down the field and lead them to a lot of game-winning drives this season.
He's got the 3 best weapons. Oh my God, no, absolutely not. He's got 3 of the best weapons in the NFL.
They're starting to use Kyle Pitts, and that's clear.
Yeah, and they stopped using Bijan.
Oh, he had a headache.
He had a headache.
Oh, he had a headache. Oh no. Yeah.
No,
For my fantasy
that's
team,
better.
but if it did, I would have been mad, and I would have wrote him a very
talking about fantasy.
upset letter. Dear Bijan, you hurt my fantasy team. I don't like you.
I was
I'm kidding. I love
such
Bijan.
a huge person on Bijan for fantasy. I had the number 2, number 4, and number 8 picks in a dynasty draft, and I traded my number 8 and number 2 pick for the number 1 pick, and I think I also traded one other first round pick because I was so high on Bijan because I thought he was going to come out and be a top 5 running back because he is, but like the thing is like no one's using him. I don't know why they're not using him. And with that other pick, I took, of course, of the 3 receivers that were still left, Quentin Johnston.
That's terrible.
I think Bijan will turn around for sure. Quentin Johnson, if you turn on the tape, actually has some talent, but like he just is not getting used very well. So unless he stinks next year, I think there's actually hope for him.
I hope. I was between him and Addison, and I literally put it up to a coin flip.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you should have got Addison at that.
Yeah,
That's
I would think
Well,
that's-
yeah.
At all.
That's not just me because I'm a Vikings fan. I just know Addison's really good.
Well, let's move on to a game I'm very disappointed in. The Steelers 24, the Rams 17. I just don't understand what the Rams are anymore.
I don't understand what the Steelers are.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
once
for
again-
both these teams, like they're either like the worst good team or like the best bad team. Like I've been hearing that part of my take all week, and I've been thinking these are the two perfect cases. Like the Rams, I said beginning of the season, I think let's say 10 wins or 11 wins. Like
10.
I believed in the Rams so much, but they just like they don't show up when it counts in these games. Like on
Puka showed up.
paper, I don't even know. The Steelers offense is so weird, but they just win games.
Matt
Their,
Stafford's
their offense did pretty well. Their offense actually.
Pickens is awesome. I love
Yeah,
Pickens.
Pickens is pretty awesome.
The thing,
Ryan Clark's right. More talented than Justin Jefferson. I'll never let that down.
well, the thing is, well, he played for the Steelers.
Wait, hold on. The last
Most
two
biased
games,
fan ever.
George Pickens against the Rams had 5 receptions for 107 yards, and against the
Oh my
Ravens, 6 receptions, 130 yards, and a touchdown.
He's good.
I love Pickens. He's awesome.
Personally, I think once again, and I understand this is another AFC North game. You may just think I'm being a biased
Biased.
Ravens fan, but I don't really think so. Because I think this was another game. Like, I'm not saying the Steelers shouldn't have won this game. They should have won the game. But you at least got to give the Rams a chance to get that ball back into 2 minutes left. And that's once again the refs being horrible refs. That spot on Pickett's QB sneak was horrible. He did not even gain a yard. If anything, he
yeah, that was
lost.
wild.
And they gave them the first down. And they didn't even look at it in the booth. And you just can't do that. You can't let the refs decide a game like that. You at least need to look at it in a booth, or you at least need to give the call if it's that close. Like it was literally a centimeter with their spot, and their spot was horrible anyway. So you at least need to give the Rams at least a chance to see if they deserve to win the game. Send it to overtime, whatever. Give them that 80-yard drive. The Steelers still should win. The win probability to stop them would still probably be like 80%. But it's like at least give them the opportunity to see what's going to play out instead of the refs just saying, hey, Steelers, take your win, 4-2. Like, no, it shouldn't be like that.
Richard, you got anything on this one?
Was like insane though. I think.
I mean,
that
I
shining.
just that
Factor.
I continue to like George Pickens. He is a menace. He will continue to be a menace, it looks like. And Puka, how did Cooper Kupp do that game? Actually, I want to look at that real
Horrible.
quick.
He's been good. He's been
No,
a
he-
monster since he's come back.
He's been.
Yeah, but he
didn't
had
do
2 catches.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
No, Puka was the star.
Puka went crazy in this
That's what I
one.
was saying. Yeah, Puka.
154.
And Puka made some insane catches.
Yeah.
Is Puka the better version of Cooper Kupp like in the next couple of years?
I'm so happy I snagged him.
I don't know about the better version, but he's a
They're so
bigger
similar.
guy. He's a bigger
so
guy.
similar.
He's a bigger specimen. He has more muscle on him. I think
Puka's route running is nowhere close to what Puka
that is true.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm saying in like a couple of years, once he gets like a couple years of like
I'm sure it
NFL training.
Sure could get better, but I don't.
Yeah, he is a rookie.
Cup's route running is like elite.
But his
I
hands
remember,
are
like-
really good.
I feel like Puka's having like the most polarizing rookie wide receiver season since Jetta's,
Jamar.
Since Jamar.
since Jamar.
But
But-
Puka might be having the best wide
I want to see
receiver.
the numbers. We should pull up the numbers of where they were at in the rookie.
Puka's
year.
is very similar to Jamar's.
Puka's is the best.
I'll try to look it up.
Puka's is the best ever.
Ever.
Yeah. as of-
Yardage wise, yeah, I'm pretty
Yo,
sure.
yardage wise, he's second, but receptions wise, he's by far first.
Yeah, Jefferson didn't start his first 2 games. He started in week 3.
Yeah.
And
All right,
he
I'll
had
do
a
the
lot of
first
catches.
7 games then. Hold on. Okay, so what's Puka at right now? He's at 752 yards and he only has 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
No,
he's
I
not
mean,
good.
he's moving
And-
chains.
I'm trying to find the year. But he's on pace to destroy Jamar's yardage total.
Yeah, he will.
Jamar had 1455 but he had 13 touchdowns. So that's gonna be he's gonna get him on touchdowns for sure.
He won't get the touchdowns, but
Yeah.
yeah.
He'll get the
Okay.
That's
reception.
sad. I just looked up when was Puka drafted, and it autocorrected to when was Luka drafted, and it just won't show anything about Puka.
No, I'm saying
He
he's so
was a fifth
disrespectful.
round pick. He was a 5th round pick.
177th overall. Wow, yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a steal at that point.
Draft, that's where you find the best players is in the rounds after, the 3rd round. It's 4, 5,
That's
6.
where the Seahawks
what-
took Russell Wilson in the 3rd round, right?
That's where Belichick thrives.
Cousins was a 4th-round pick. Dak Prescott was. Brock Purdy was the last pick overall.
Brock Purdy might not be that great.
Well, for what he's totally worth the 7th-round pick.
Oh, 100%.
Tyreek Hill, Stephon
AB.
Diggs for 5th and 6th-round picks, I'm pretty sure. Tom Brady, 199.
Antonio Brown, Julian Edelman.
The list goes on. Vikings just got a kid who's undrafted, Ivan Pace Jr. He's been the best rookie linebacker.
Okay.
Let's go on to the NFC West battle, which is never a battle. The Seahawks beat the Cardinals 20-10, saying the Cardinals, who are like the most frisky team, to 1-6.
So they seem to put up a fight in the first half, and then once the first half is over,
they're one of the best first half teams of the year, I'm pretty sure, statistically.
Yeah. But I think when Kyler comes back, they can win some more games. I think the Josh Dobbs experiment, he was pretty good through 5 games.
He's proven to be one of the best backup quarterbacks for sure.
Yeah, but he definitely should be a backup.
He got a bag for sure in the future.
Yeah,
for backing somebody up.
For backing someone up, yeah.
That's
like Kyler Hunt.
I mean,
can Kyler bring him back? Is the question.
Not this year.
Bring him back.
You
like
can't
bring him back up
6 and bring him back to the playoffs.
Their ceiling with Kyler coming back is
5 wins.
5, yeah, I'd say 5 wins.
Yeah, that's fair.
When is he coming back?
Week 10, I believe.
Yeah. Do we think the
wins?
Seahawks have a chance to make a run in the playoffs this year, or are they just gonna be a wild card team again?
Do you know?
No, they're one of the better teams in the NFC.
No.
You think so?
I don't know.
Do you think they have a chance to win a divisional playoff game and make it?
Absolutely.
No.
They have a very good roster. I think everyone forgets that. They have a very good roster. They have a good receiving core. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. They have 3 players
this week too.
Yeah, they have 3 players in the spots where they need to be. Tyler Lockett is a deep threat. DK is his number 1 receiver, and then Jackson Smith-Njigba is a great slot player. You have everyone where they need to be. Kenneth Walker is a very good running back. Was he offensive player rookie of the year? He was like top 2 or something. He was one of the top ones for it. And then their defense, they have so much talent on that defense. They have
Witherspoon is a beast.
Yeah, Devon Witherspoon's great. Who was last year's pick that played really well? They had another DB last year, I forget, but they have a really talented roster. I think they absolutely have the ability, especially with Pete Carroll coaching. They have all the tools. I think they can definitely do it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're gonna have to beat either the Niners or the Eagles, and I don't think they're gonna be able.
No, I don't know if they're gonna make the Super Bowl, but
no, I'm saying I don't think they're gonna be able to make it to the NFC Championship game.
There's no.
I see what you're saying.
One of those teams in divisional round.
I think they might be able to beat the Niners.
That O line is no. There's no way. They have no pass rush.
Yeah, wait, Ruja, you were talking about the Niners being a perfect team 2 weeks ago.
But then they lost to the Vikings without JJ. Like, come on.
All right, we'll get to that later. Do we want to talk Packers and Broncos?
No.
Jordan Love.
I don't care about them.
Jordan Love.
All right, we'll go Chargers.
Jordan Love. I will say this.
That's it.
Jordan Love made everyone think he was that guy the first 2 weeks.
He did.
Ever since.
He did.
I picked him up in fantasy and I traded him right away, right when I got him. And I got great assets for him. And now he's not been great. But my only takeaway is that he needs to win against Minnesota at home on Sunday, or his career is in jeopardy. And I think, listen, I know the Vikings just won, but the Vikings and Green Bay, they split every year. So I would probably lean to Green Bay to win that game, especially with JJ still being out. But there's a chance that Minnesota beats them by 10. And if that happens, there's serious problems.
All right, yeah. Let's go to the Chiefs again, owning the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert. Are the Chargers ever going to be able to beat the Chiefs? Probably not.
No.
Are the Chiefs still the top team in the AFC? I think
they are. With their defense looking like how it's looking, I think they are. And I think Mahomes and Kelsey.
I'm surprised you say that, Andrew.
I was surprised that you're the one who said that.
Well, I think personally the Ravens are the most talented team. I really do. I think if they put it together week in, week out, no one in the entire league can beat them except possibly the Eagles. I'll shout out the Eagles. But I think except possibly the Eagles and the 49ers, if the Ravens put it together like they should be, every single week, the only team that could possibly beat them or even compete are the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Chiefs. And but I do think that the Ravens haven't showed that they can put it together week in, week out yet. Yeah, they did against the Lions, but they need to show some more. And once they show more, I'd say the Ravens are above the Chiefs. But as of right now, I think the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC, especially with Kelsey and Mahomes, their connection always looking amazing. Rashee Rice is coming into his own as a wide receiver. Even Marquez Valdes-Scantling is doing something. Pacheco's been good as a running back. And then just the defense has been absurd. Their secondary's been locking up. Chris Jones is Chris Jones, unbelievable. And actually, Chris Jones, he leads the league in interior defensive linemen and sacks, tied with Ravens defensive tackle Justin Madubuike with 5.5 sacks. He's about to get
loves bringing in Ravens. Like, we're not even talking about the Ravens, and this is all we're talking about.
I'm just saying he's gonna price himself out of Baltimore, but okay. But yeah, the Chiefs are probably the best team in the AFC still because their defense just looks amazing. It does. They've never had a defense like this, and like
It's
when their
scary
offense,
with Patrick Mahomes having a defense like this.
yeah, like when their offense is starting to slow down a tiny bit, you give them a top 5 defense in the league, and it's just like, six straight AFC championships.
I don't know. It's for me. I don't know what it is. It's like a gut feeling. Like something just feels off about the Chiefs. I don't know what it is.
I do see that. I do see that.
That happens every year for me in the beginning of the year, though, and it doesn't matter when it comes to playoff time.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see as time goes on. I just don't know. Because maybe it's Taylor Swift. Maybe it's like
receivers. I mean, like it's like last year where we're like, oh wow, they don't have Tyreek Hill. I mean, Kelsey's been playing amazing, so it's not been a big deal. But I just feel like we don't see a lot of Pat Mahomes' big plays throwing downfield.
That's a
factor of what people miss out on. I think Rashee Rice is going to solidify himself as the number one, but he's nowhere near what Tyreek Hill is. And I seriously think that
he's a different type of player.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, actually,
talent-wise, like he won't get there.
Well, I went to a Maryland Maryland versus SMU game last year, and I looked at Rashee Rice. He had like 11 catches for 180 yards and something, and like 2 touchdowns. Unbelievable game. And I remember saying to all of the people I was there with, I was like, this guy's going to be a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick and be a stud in the NFL. And he's already looking amazing.
Yeah, he's good. I still think the Chiefs need to trade for a wide receiver. That's not Cole Hardman, because they really, I think, desperately do need a downfield threat. They have Watson, they have Cole, but and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I guess, but those guys just are not going to cut it when it matters most. And I seriously feel like they're the 2nd best team in the AFC behind Baltimore.
Oh, you think what's it called? You think is it pure speed they still need?
Yeah, they 100% need speed.
And so would just a John Ross do, or would you need someone better than
that? I think you need someone who's got good talent too, like I don't know,
Wes Watkins.
I feel like if they could get someone with like a Terry McLaurin talent, like we were just saying earlier.
Terry McLaurin's awesome. What do you mean get a Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin is not that elite tier receiver, but
he's up there. He's really
he definitely is.
He's not elite.
Yes, he is.
Wait, so Carter, you think
elite is Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase?
Okay, but not every team's gonna get that. So you're not gonna.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Elite is. That's what I'm saying. Elite is. I'm just saying Terry's not elite. I think really
Tyler
good.
Boyd would be the number 1 receiver for the Chiefs.
No, he'd be the number 2 for sure.
I think he'd be the number 1.
I think in a perfect scenario, the Chiefs could get T. Higgins in the offseason next year if he becomes a free agent.
Oh,
that would be pretty cool.
But yes, I did say the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. But I feel like I said this earlier in the year. It was them in Miami.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm not going to turn my back on Baltimore. I remember they lost that game to the Colts, and that bumped them down a little bit for me. But again, every NFL team loses against a team they shouldn't. And the Chiefs haven't done that yet, too. When they lost to Detroit, they were down 2 of their best 3 players. So we're still waiting for that signature loss for them. And they haven't gotten that. I think they lose to Miami when they play. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But so far, not yet.
Well, let's transition into Miami. Sunday Night Football, the Eagles beat the Dolphins 31-17. I was honestly expecting an Eagles loss here personally because all my team went to the Penn State game. Or no, I didn't go, but we got whomped by Ohio State pretty much. I'm a big UFC guy, big Alexander Volkanovski guy. He gets knocked out. And the Phillies lose. And I'm like, okay, well, it's time for the Eagles to get their pounding in. And somehow we kind of came on top.
Well,
Thanks to the refs a little bit.
I think the refs a lot. 0 flags called.
Yeah,
again,
that was interesting.
Well, there
I
was
think-
one, but there was it was on both sides, and it actually wasn't even a flag on the Eagles. It was when they were doing the tush push, and Jason Kelsey puts both of his hands down, and
Oh yeah.
they thought it was the guards. Yeah,
But still, I just think I think like he face masked a guy on a back shoulder on 4th and
yeah,
2.
That was
That's
terrible.
got to be called. And then like there
Okay.
was a huge hold that got to be called. And I'm not saying like the refs are the reason why the Eagles won that game.
I think
Let's
the Eagles
talk
would have won
about
regardless because
The Eagles would have
we
won
ended the game
regardless.
on their 5-yard
But-
line and moved out.
If the tush push was not a play, let's just say it wasn't a play. You guys would have punted on 4th and 1 from your own 32, and the Dolphins would have had a chance to tie the game up at 24 with about 5 minutes left. And then same as when you were on the 50. But instead you just tush push your way through every 4th and 1.
Right?
Hit that first,
Wait,
and
that-
then
that
you-
drive in the fourth quarter when they did the 2 tush pushes, I think that's the most impressive drive of the season so far by any team.
it might be.
Because to have the balls to go, what were they on their own 30?
Well, you don't
What-
need to have balls when
Yeah.
you have a play that's run that
Well,
successful.
yeah, but there's still a scenario where
automatic.
the team does stop.
Have
you.
have
know
they
Fred
failed?
Warner-
Have they failed that try like
Not
that
this
play yet?
season. Not
I
this
think
season.
I think they haven't. I thought they did once, but
You guys just see what Fred Warner did yesterday when the Vikings.
yeah, he destroyed.
Yeah.
it.
that could happen. Like
I don't know
But-
what do the Eagles do that's so much different that they just is just
they have
like,
a Hall of Fame center.
I know.
They have
Yeah, that's
Jalen
true.
Hurts
It is on.
Well,
the
I know it's
center,
like the
basically.
players, but they do it so much better. And
Jalen
such
Hurts can
within
squat
a
600
single
plus
play.
pounds.
All right, can I say something?
why.
This is why I think that play should be outlawed.
Oh, here we go.
The reason I think that play
What if
should
your
be
Ravens did it? Well, that's all I want to say.
Yeah,
Would you care?
I,
If it was the
I
Ravens,
wouldn't,
not
I
the
wouldn't
Eagles.
like it. I wouldn't like it.
Oh, come on.
That's not true.
That's
a-
Oh my
that's
God,
cap.
brother.
If
That's
the
cap.
Ravens did it, I would think it's ruining the integrity of the football.
Yeah, you
It's
call
not.
like the La
it
Push.
ruins
Lamar.
the entertainment. It ruins the entertainment because every 4th and 1, you're just saying, "Oh, they got."
So
it.
are you wait, so you want like every QB sneak to be banned?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I think if the Eagles just stripped the QB sneak, they'd convert it.
I don't
over
think so at all, and this is why. This is why.
They
The
have
thing
5
is-
yards from the tush push. They have
the
over
thing is,
5 yards.
That's my point. That's my point. The tush push. The rule in the NFL is that on the defensive side of the ball, you're not allowed to push a defender to help stop an offensive player. So why can the offense do it to get through the defense? I think the play should be outlawed, or they should change the rules and put that you're allowed to push a defender so that it can be equal. Because if it's
I
not
didn't know
equal-
that. That's
if
a
it's not
Are you
rule.
sure that's the rule?
Yes, it's a rule. If it's not equal on both sides of the ball, that's where the problem lies. But if you let the defense also do the pushing, then it will balance out, and then the play wouldn't be able to be as successful. So if you can let the defense do the pushing, then I think the play should be legal. But until that, the play should be illegal.
You know what I'm doing right now? Playing the world's smallest violin. Because every NFL team can do the tush push, but not every NFL team can
That's
do what the
also
Eagles
true.
do. Okay.
That's also
Every
true.
NFL offense can do it. Just because you can't do it as well as they can doesn't mean it should be banned. All right. It's you know what it is? It's hating. It's haters hating. Just they're successful. They're hating on success. That is
I think
success. That is what it is.
No, I think
Do
it's really
I like when the Eagles do the tush push? No, because they're good at it. That's why I don't like it, because they're good at it.
You know it's coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Too bad. Everybody could do
It's-
it. And not
it's
everyone's successful at it. I've seen the Giants do it. I saw the
The Vikings failed at 2 straight attempts.
The Vikings should never do it ever again. I don't know what that point. That
The
was a
center
long
didn't even snap
1
the
yard
ball.
too for them to do it. It was whack. But just because the Eagles are good at it doesn't mean it should be banned. All right, everybody else has the opportunity to do it, and if that's the case, which it is, then I'll play my small violin, and that's all that matters.
But let me ask you this. If it comes down to the Super Bowl again and the Eagles are in it, And
push for the
you have a fourth quarter drive, and the Eagles are down 3, and they get 4th and 2 on their own 24, go for it to push their way to the 26, get a first down. Then 4th and 1 on their own 40. But keep in mind, the defense are stopping them. They're getting 3 stops, but then they're just tush. Let's say they use the tush push 4 times in one drive because they were stopped to 4th and 1 every single time in that drive. Then they score a touchdown on a tush push to win the game. Are you just saying like that's good football, or are you saying?
But here's my thing.
Or no. Or are you saying? Oh my God, that was the least entertaining Super Bowl drive I've seen in my entire life because all they're doing is just QB sneaking their way to victory.
Why does that
What's
matter?
the difference of handing the ball off and they got 100% of the time handing the ball off and pushing
the game of football isn't the NFL is an entertainment
That's how football started. It was with
What? My question to you is this, Andrew, do you play Madden?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is when it's really short yardage, do you QB sneak it? Because you know it's automatic because the game sucks. But do you QB sneak
it's not automatic anymore. It hasn't been automatic since 2017.
Every time I do it, it's automatic, so.
Oh, I failed 4 times in a row on the 1-yard line once in a row. Ever since then, I
That's
stopped.
why
Jalen Hurts.
Okay,
but
well,
all I'm saying is the NFL is an entertainment industry, and this takes away the entertainment from the game, in my opinion. But I'm saying the play should stay if the NFL changes the rules and lets defensive players be pushed as well. Because if it's not equal on both sides of the ball, then I just feel like it's a dumb play. What do you have to say about that part? Should they at least allow defensive players to be pushed?
I don't even believe that's a rule.
I don't
Look it up right now.
I not because we
Every
have to
NFL
go
team
49ers.
on offense can still do it. Who cares? Get good at it then. Like,
all right, we got
like if Philly did that, I would not care. Because you know what would happen if Baltimore tush pushed their way to a Super Bowl? You'd be like, "Oh my God, Lamar's got a Super Bowl ring," and you wouldn't care.
Lamar's the best.
No, because I wouldn't want.
I can't believe he tush pushed 4 times to get it. You know how hard that is to get that 1 yard. Get out of here.
We got the fire alarm.
Looks like we got a fire drill, boys.
Go ahead. We'll finish this one without you. We have one more game left.
Bring your phone. Put like a guest on or something. Bring your phone.
Yeah, let the dorm be a part of the podcast.
I can't even hear the fire alarm. Did he mute himself?
I heard it.
Yeah, he muted him.
All right, well, yeah. we got to move on to the Niners and the Vikings. I'm just gonna give it to Carter. Carter, how do you feel about having a win?
I will say this. I did say they would cover the spread, the Vikings.
You did. I do remember.
What was the spread?
It was like -6.5, I believe.
Okay.
They always have 1-score games. They're not a bad football team by any means. They're not good. They're not great. Like every team they listen to this home schedule, how brutal this is. You can say whatever you want about the Bucs, but that defense is good, and it was week 1. Everybody's vulnerable week 1. So they had to play the Bucs, who won their division last year, week 1 at home. Then after that, their next home game is the Chargers, which, say what you want, Justin Herbert's still a great quarterback. And then their next home game after that is Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. And their fourth home game is the San
I don't know about that. Personally, I don't know about Justin Herbert being a great quarterback. He missed Keenan Allen on a wide open touchdown.
Oh my God, one play.
He misses so many wide open.
Andrew's gonna catch on fire.
I'm not done talking. Quiet. And then they have to play the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football, which for some reason Kirk Cousins can't win on primetime, even though it's a team sport. And I know if it was any other quarterback, no one would care. Because you want to know the funny thing about Kirk Cousins on primetime? Let me check the stats of this Vikings-Niners game real quick. And this is without Justin Jefferson, I believe, the best receiver in football. And this is the best team in the NFL they played. So Kirk Cousins threw an interception, was not a great play at all. Way too congested of a throw to Jordan Addison. He got bullied there. Well, guess what happens after Kirk Cousins throws that interception? He's 35 for 45, 378 yards and 2 touchdowns against arguably the best defense in the NFL.
Okay.
He was without Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison, his rookie wide receiver, tore them up. And he was out for a good chunk of that game too. Kirk Cousins had the whole world watching and against him, against arguably the best NFL team. And he found a way, and he played nearly perfect and won. He was absolutely flawless on the deep ball last night. And not only that, he was fantastic on converting the third down. The big issue for them was scoring in the red zone, which it's tough because they still, one, can't run the ball, and Kirk Cousins still found a way to
They
win.
don't have a tush push play.
They can't
Stop that. Stop.
Okay, but they
Go back
can't
to
run the ball in
yourself.
general. The Vikings just can't run it. Alexander Madison is not that great. So Kirk Cousins had to rely on his arm and his young receivers, and they still found a way. And I also think this game says a lot about Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. Did they not have Trent Williams? Yes. Did they not have Debo? Yes. But that's all excuses because the Vikings are still a worse team. And not only are they worse than San Fran, they didn't have Jefferson and they were missing their left guard. So they're missing one of their offensive linemen. They're missing one of their top receivers. The Vikings were also missing Marcus Davenport as well, one of their edge rushers, starting edge rushers. So the Vikings are missing starters as well. I don't want to hear the excuses for San Fran. There's no reason they should have lost that game at all. They're a better team. They are. And they found a way to lose because Brock Purdy, when down,
Sucks.
cannot get his team back into the game. He has two of the last drives, interception and an interception. When they needed him most, he faded away. And I don't want to hear the Debo or Trent Williams excuses because in the NFL, injuries happen. If the Vikings have Justin Jefferson, that, end zone fiasco where they can't score probably doesn't happen because he attracts so much attention and they probably score another touchdown. The Vikings in all reality could have won this game by 10, 14 points. But the San Francisco's defense is so good at stopping them in that end zone. And the fact that they just can't run the ball didn't happen and they had to settle for field goals. Regardless of the fact, the Minnesota Vikings have life in the NFC. Very much alive. A lot of teams are 3-4, 3-3, 4-3. This Vikings team are literal plays, fumbles, bobbled interceptions away from being 4-3, 5-2. And it feels like this 3-4 Vikings team is better than last year's 13-4 team. And I was saying that earlier this year. The coaching is so much better. And it feels like Kevin O'Connell is finding another groove with this Vikings offense. Brian Flores is finding a groove with the defense. And if you look at their next couple of games, they could 100% make the playoffs at Green Bay, at Atlanta, at home against the Saints, at Denver, at home against the Bears, at the Raiders. And that's all the way up until December 10th. 100% can go 5-1, maybe even 6-0 in those games. Could they find a way to lose all of them? Sure. I've been a fan for how long? I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to lose all those games. But I think there's some hope and there's some optimism. And Kirk Cousins is not getting traded, so stop talking about it.
Hold on. I want to do this quick. I have a little blind resume for you. So pick the player from this blind resume. Player A, 69.5 completion percentage, 2017 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a 101 rating. Player B, 68.9 completion percentage, 2,057 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 101.7 rating.
What's the difference?
First is Kirk, second is Mahomes.
What are you guys taking?
First,
I know it's Kirk Cousins and Mahomes because you want to know something funny?
Player A is Patrick Mahomes. Player B is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
has a better statistical year than Patrick Mahomes.
I know.
Okay,
And you want to know what the funny thing is? That was going to be one of the games we played, and I was going to do who'd you rather.
Oh, my bad.
No,
That's
it's fine.
okay.
It's fine. It's fine because now I'm going to even double down on it.
Yeah. If I brought it up.
Listen, I'm a very big advocate for the Vikings to still draft a quarterback for the future. Kirk is 35. I think he's 30 or 36. And yeah, as a quarterback, like you could still play at an elite level. I think that was Kirk's best game ever as an NFL player with who he was playing, the narratives, what was at stake, and without your best player. So I 100% think that was his best game ever because he found a way to get it done at home against the best team in the NFL, arguably. And I also think that just the fact that there's still some hope for the season is just massive for them, and that he's playing on such a high level.
I just find it kind of funny that I don't think any of us talked any crap about the Vikings, but then here goes Carter talking them up for 8 minutes. I was like, Oh
All
my
right, well,
God, he is
all
a
right.
lot to say. But
All
yeah,
right,
Kirk is
we'll,
really
we'll,
good.
we'll end on Rujo's tears. Rujo, show
I'm
up.
sorry.
wait,
Once I get going, I get going. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
Kirk
have
is really
one
good. The
last thing to
receivers are
say.
good.
I have one last thing to say about this. It's 49ers fans. I'm sorry, but you are officially eliminated from Super Bowl contention. The
Thank you.
Cousins
I know.
curse has hit you. And the
I don't know
Cousins
about
curse is
that.
real. I will go to my I will die on a hill that the Cousins curse is real.
But personally, I think Cousins is good. The receiving core is good. The defense looks much better this year. And I think the Vikings will make the playoffs. I don't know if they'll make any noise in the playoffs, but I think they will make the
They'll lose to the
playoffs. Now
Giants
let's move
somehow.
on to Rudra's tiers.
All right, so we got our tiers here. There is a lot of
I love it
movement.
already.
There's a lot of movement because what's it called? This was from 2 weeks ago, was the last one. So this is calculations based on from 2 weeks. So let me know what you guys think. Before you say anything, actually, the Super Bowl contenders tier was incredibly difficult for me to rank within that one, and the playoff teams were very hard to rank within each other.
Dude, you have the Seahawks over the Niners?
It was.
I do.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah.
When San Fran plays Seattle and then beats them by 20, we'll come back to this.
And you
We
have
will, but
you have the Rams 6 over the Steelers, and the Steelers just beat them.
no, I still believe the Rams are still better. I think that they have I just don't think that was it. Like everyone says, everyone loses a game. Like, I don't think that was their best performance. I think that look at Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was like not there. I think that they have significantly more.
I don't think the Dolphins should be above the Chiefs. I personally would put the Chiefs at 2, the Ravens at 3, the Niners at 4, the Dolphins at 5, the Jaguars at 6, Seahawks at 8, and the Cowboys at 7, and the Lions at 9, and yeah, the Browns at 10. So I think your top 10 is decent. I would just scramble around the Ravens, Chiefs, and Dolphins, and then put the 49ers right behind 2 of those teams. Other than that, I like the bottom section. I do think the Falcons should be higher though, at least above the Bucks after just.
Do you really? See,
Yeah.
that was something I was I don't think so.
I think you should switch up the Falcons and the Bucks because the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, the Falcons are kind of seeming they're going to win that division. So I feel
Yeah, and the defense does look good.
Falcons defense is very good. I would definitely swap Seattle and San Fran. I'd put Seattle at like 10, and then I would probably keep Cleveland. I'd probably switch them with Detroit. Like put Detroit in top 8 still, but have Dallas over them. Put Seattle at 10. Maybe put Cleveland at like, I don't know, 7 or something. I'd keep San Fran in top 5 still. Jacksonville on the cusp of top 5. I would get the.
I'd
Rams.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I wouldn't put the Lions that low either. I don't know why.
Yeah, Lions should be a little higher. I'd say like 8, which is literally one spot, but 100%.
Well, I would say other than the Seahawks, who would you put them above here?
Maybe.
And the Cowboys.
No, not Dallas.
See, that's the thing. Like, I would not put them above the Jaguars. Look really good for sure.
I would swap the Rams and Jets outright. Like literally swap spots.
Really? Wow. I do not think the Jets are that good.
If the Jets play the Rams might score 7 points max.
Sure, but you're saying they're better than the Chargers, Texans, and your own Vikings.
The Chargers are 2 and 4.
Yes.
The Chargers are 2 and 4. I don't know why the Chargers.
Yeah.
Why do you have the Chargers at 14 at 2 and 4?
The Jets
they're better than they're playing. They're better
They're not
than
better
they're
than the
playing right now.
Steelers. They're not better than the Steelers.
The Jets
The
are
Chargers.
better than the Rams,
They're not better.
Chargers, Texans, Vikings, and Colts. 100%.
We'll see
pretty
next
close.
game. I don't know.
Vikings because the Vikings.
I would swap the Chargers and the Steelers straight up, and the Jets and the Rams straight up, and then I think your list would be a solid.
I think Washington's way too low. Like I know they lost, but it's not that bad. They're not worse than the Cardinals.
Yeah, well,
maybe, but like,
yeah,
No, there's no way.
Eh.
Cardinals are just bad.
I
well,
think
yeah, but so are the Commanders.
Washington beat Arizona.
I guess, but it's not what's it called? It's not by record. It's by
fluidity.
Yeah.
Looks best during the week that we are on.
All right. Solid list.
This isn't the worst one you had for sure. The last one we did was awful. But yeah, this is
the last one was one of the worst things I've ever seen. But let's end on that note.
Yeah. All right, Roger. That's a
All right.
tier list.
Good stuff, Rudra.
All right. And
Woo!
we're gonna end on that. Thank you everyone for listening to our Tuesday/Wednesday, whenever it comes out on Spotify, NFL Week 7 recap. Thanks for listening.